This is the Galaxy S9 Plus, what Samsung calls as the camera reimagined, what most consumers call the new Galaxy, what we call the successor to the best all-rounder of 2017. That device that's not necessarily the best at just one thing, but instead great at everything. Yes, it's hard to tell the difference between last year's model and this one, but that's until you use one, as this year Plus actually means something. I'm Jaime Rivera with Pocketnow, and this is our full review of the Samsung Galaxy S9 Plus. In the past week of testing, the most common thing I've heard from friends is their personal debate over upgrading. They call this the Galaxy S8s Plus, and my answer has always been that that's not necessarily true. Yes, the design is very similar. The use of glass-on-glass and sexy curves stays around for another year, with the aluminum trim now going matte instead of glossy. I definitely recommend that you pick the coral blue, titanium gray, or lilac purple, as this midnight black is unapologetic about its love for fingerprints. I also noticed that there's a weight distribution change, with this new phone feeling slightly heavier as a result. Other than that, the real highlight of this phone is that you can grab that list of hardware complaints you had with the S8 Plus and just throw it out the trash. Seriously, just do it. Like, for example, remember that con of this being just the bloated S8? Gone. Differences in the spec sheet with the regular S9 include 6GB of RAM instead of 4, a dual camera module instead of a single, we'll discuss later, and a 16% larger battery. And everything else, the power list is the same. A new Qualcomm Snapdragon 845 or Exynos 9810 depending on your region. Options that start at 64 gigs of expandable storage, IP68 water and dust resistance, fast and wireless charging, and I'm even gonna call the inclusion of a headphone jack as a feature here. And then that design complaint of the annoying placement of the fingerprint scanner, that's fixed too. It's now placed below the camera, at the same height of competitors, and with a minor hump to know it's there. Samsung's 6.2-inch Infinity display makes a return with Quad HD Plus resolution capabilities. It once again comes at Full HD Plus out of the box, and I haven't really felt a need to change it. The screen is seriously gorgeous, with great viewing angles, though again remember this is OLED, it'll shift to a minor tint of green depending on the angle. I love that the minor bezels are still black regardless of the color variant, making the experience more immersive. And to assist with that, the other Galaxy con of the lack of stereo speakers is also gone. The earpiece and the speaker are now tuned by AKG, providing support for Dolby Atmos, and they're pretty loud.
Samsung's new flagship lineup, what the company calls as the camera reimagined.
Samsung Experience 9 powers the show on top of Android 8.0 Oreo. Yeah, I know, a full version behind. It seems that that's the price you pay for this Galaxy to feel like one. I can't tell much of a difference between using this and last year's variant, which is not necessarily a bad thing. The user interface is exactly the same, with theming capabilities that are still here. The launcher now supports the 5x6 icon density that I praised from the Galaxy Note 8, and it also brings a ton of other Note 8 features to the Galaxy S, like for example app pairs. Samsung claims a new approach to multitasking where you can react to notifications and turn it into a pop-up window for quick responses, but it seems that only works with Galaxy applications. But no worries, the standard Android multitasking is still here. The keynote also made a big deal about Bixby, and just keep in mind this is still not Bixby 2.0, and even then I do notice that it's smarter thanks to the new AR features. Bixby Vision can now translate things instantly for you, which is quite convenient if you travel. It can even tell you how a new set of makeup will look on your face, though I'm definitely not the target for that. Bixby is even said to be capable of detecting the calorie information of the food you eat, though even that's hard to be determined in real life. AR will definitely tell the camera what this is, but the result will be based on the item and not necessarily what you're really eating at the moment. Yes, honestly, a lot of these things sound like if they're going to turn into gimmicks, but I will be honest with you, the more I use Bixby, the less I complain about having a button for it, and we have a separate video detailing that. AR emoji is the new trick where your face becomes your new form of digital expression, though I'd call it more like 3D Bitmoji. It's definitely better than using the animal that competitors provide, at least in theory. Sadly, the implementation is not so good. This is definitely not my face, and it doesn't really sync with your face as well as competitors do. The stickers are cool to have, but I doubt that you'll be using them after the first day, though obviously your needs are different than mine. Samsung is also making a big deal about consolidating its ecosystem and letting you connect this phone to Samsung SmartThings to share data, but that'll be something we'll be testing in the near future. I've been using the Samsung Galaxy S9 Plus for 8 days between Barcelona and New York. This phone has proven to connect really well to networks and provide great data speeds. I also praise the loudness of phone calls, a serious improvement to last year's model. And believe it or not, that complaint of this being a phablet with terrible battery, that's gone too. Endurance has definitely improved, and sure, this is no key one, but I end the day with at least 30% of battery to spare, which is great considering moderate to heavy use. And like all Samsung phones, the UI performs great out the box, and that's after loading it with 140 apps. I haven't noticed any slowdowns, like for example games play great, and we praise that game launcher features are still making a return. We just hope that it ages the same way, as Galaxy phones are notorious for not necessarily doing that. Our After the Buzz video will shed some light in the future. And another important highlight was definitely Samsung's Intelligence Scan, which plans to blend facial recognition with iris scanning for true biometric security. This is probably one of the things that I praised the most when it was announced, but in the real world, I feel that it needs improvements. For example, it doesn't really work well in low light, and when I'm wearing sunglasses. About the only reason why I won't really complain is because the fingerprint scanner is still here, so you still do have an alternative. And finally, the most important feature, the camera reimagined. Samsung has a fair amount of experience with dual aperture cameras and has ported the technology to the Galaxy S9. In theory, the idea is for the primary 12-megapixel camera to go narrower in aperture whenever bright light is available at f2.4, and go to the brightest aperture in a smartphone camera today at f1.5 whenever in low light. The secondary telephoto camera remains at f2.4, but both provide OIS and EIS capabilities. Photos are gorgeous during the day. Definitely no less than what I expect from Galaxy phones. Close-ups provide an insane amount of detail, saturation, and contrast, even when you pull photos out of the phone. And also, it's definitely no pixel when it comes to portrait photos, but I do love the versatility of giving you the option to apply focus after the fact, or to stick with the wide shot if things went bad. Now, low light is where things get interesting. The phone does an amazing job at pulling in color and detail in very dark scenarios, but the catch is that once you try to photograph moving subjects, it sometimes struggles. Not always, I'd say around 3 times out of 10. Usually what I've told friends of previous Galaxy phones is to just trust the phone, even if the viewfinder seems grainy, but I wouldn't say the same about this phone, at least not now. It could be that the variable aperture needs a software update for faster shutter and moving scenarios, but we'll see over time. Now, video recording is great. I love the detail, I love the stabilization using the primary camera when walking. I love that you can record 4K at 60 frames per second, something that not even the camera that I'm using to film this video can do. Using the zoom lens is convenient, but the transition is a bit harsh, and it tends to play around with focus on closer subjects. And then selfie video recording is okay. It's definitely more stable than competitors, but you'll need a selfie stick as the field of view is atrocious. And then another hallmark feature of this phone is the ultra slow-mo. There's even a DRAM chip built in to enable what Samsung calls the super speed dual image sensor. It definitely is cool once you look at it, but here's a few pointers. For example, the auto mode is not good in my opinion. It asks you to keep steady, but doesn't always detect moving subjects until you actually move the phone. My advice is to go manual and just tell the camera when you want to go slow-mo. It does look a bit jagged on the screen, but that's because it's 720p. Also, don't count on it for low light, but that's standard across all phones that do good slow-mo. To conclude, I think it's important to point out why this phone exists. Samsung really wants to offer the full package, the best all-rounder, a phone that excels in everything and that's also delightful to use. In that respect, I believe the company has succeeded. Sure, a ton of the features that the company highlights aren't necessarily perfect, but that doesn't mean that the phone doesn't nail the basics and even other things better than competitors. And then there's the fact that I really like it when a company can be humble about feedback and return with a product that pushes the bar of innovation, all while also addressing complaints. There's no such thing as a perfect product, and my feedback would be that I don't understand why Samsung launches a phone that's already behind on versions of Android, that the AR emoji definitely needs work, and that intelligence scan should be improved in all conditions. The cool part is that 2 of these complaints are optional, and then all 3 can be fixed with a software update. And everything else, the Samsung Galaxy S9 Plus is a great phone. Once again, what I'd call the best all-rounder that delivers on all the most important features that consumers want out of a flagship. Definitely one of those phones that I would highly recommend you give a try in 2018. Let us know in the comments what you think about the Galaxy S9 Plus and what comparisons you'd like to see next. While you're at that, make sure you follow us on social media and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this one. You can follow me on Twitter, Jaime_Rivera, or on Instagram at Jaime Rivera. Please give this video a thumbs up if you like what you saw. I'm Jaime Rivera. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you on the next one.